Here's the harsh reality. There are three kinds of guys in the dating market, and only one of them gets all the beautiful women. The first type is the fool. He believes that showering a woman with flowers, writing cheesy poetry, and letting her take advantage of him will win her over. He lives in a fantasy world where grand gestures and acts of service equal love. These guys think women are trophies, so they spend years working to accumulate enough nice guy points to eventually unlock her heart. Except women don't love men who serve them. They crave men who stand beside them. The second type is the rough jerk. He treats women like they're nothing. He might think they're too good for him, so he pushes them away with disrespect, believing it'll make him more attractive. These guys view relationships as transactions where they give money or status and expect sex in return. The problem is, their bad behavior only attracts other broken people who treat them like garbage. The third type is the smart seducer. He understands the game women play, and that there's no such thing as a free lunch. He doesn't fall for the media's lies that women are too complicated. Instead, he sees the same desires and flaws in them that he has himself. This guy knows women aren't special snowflakes who need coddling, and he doesn't treat them that way. He also doesn't fall into the trap of seeing women as objects to conquer. Instead, he respects them while recognizing that they are still human beings with weaknesses and defects just like him. While society labels him a jerk, this guy is simply a realist who refuses to participate in the fantasy world of romantic love. Now, do you want to know which type of guy gets all the beautiful girls? Which one do you think it is? If you guessed the last one, the smart seducer, then you're right. He's the one who wins. So why do the other two types lose? The first type, the fool, loses because he doesn't realize he's playing a rigged game. He keeps betting on the wrong horse, expecting love in return for his grand gestures. The second type, the jerk, loses because he plays dirty pool. He might win some short-term games, but nobody wants to play with a cheater. Eventually, karma catches up to him, and everyone avoids him. The third type, the smart seducer, wins because he understands how the game works. He's willing to outwork the competition and use his natural charm to succeed. Unlike the first two losers, he learns from his mistakes and adapts his strategy as needed. So which type of guy are you? More importantly, which type of guy do you want to be? Here's a simple litmus test to find out. Think back to the last girl you were interested in. How many times did you do things to please her or make her happy? If you can count those things on one hand, you're likely a winner who instinctively understands how to attract and seduce women. If you can count them on both hands, you're probably a fool stuck in the fantasy world of romance. If you couldn't possibly count them because you did everything for her, you're likely the loser who treats women like personal ATMs. Your desperate acts may seem impressive to other losers, but they turn off hype. The truth is, chasing women is a lot like chasing a bus. You'll never catch the right one if you keep running after the wrong ones. In this case, you won't attract the girl you deserve if you keep acting like the fool or the jerk. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking you're going to be the smart seducer, because you don't look like a movie star or have six-figure income. But that's a misconception. Being a smart seducer isn't about physical attributes or money. It's a mindset, a skill set, and a collection of habits that can be learned. Let me explain further. There are two major benefits to being a smart seducer rather than a fool or a jerk. First, you avoid wasting years pursuing the wrong women. Second, you avoid the self-destructive behaviors common among the other two types. Consider the fool who spends years building up a girl only to be discarded. All his efforts go to waste, costing him precious time he can never get back. Or the jerk who chases quantity instead of quality, sleeping with dozens of women but never forming deep connections. He experiences brief physical gratification but never true emotional intimacy. On the other hand, the smart seducer practices restraint, choosing to invest time and energy wisely. He patiently waits for the right person instead of settling for anyone. He also understands that rejection is part of the process and bounces back quickly. Imagine that the average guy wastes 3 years chasing the wrong women, staying in dead-end relationships too long. Meanwhile, the smart seducer spends those years developing himself and his skills, building a social circle, advancing in his career, and becoming financially independent. By the time he finds his ideal woman, he's already accomplished so much more than the average guy. This head start alone puts him leagues ahead in terms of accomplishments and confidence. Now, here's some critical advice. Do you want to make the mistake of thinking you can remain a fool or jerk for most of your life, and suddenly transform into a smart seducer when you decide to commit? Decode. Adopt the mindset of a winner once you've built a reputation as a clown or a player. Your track record precedes you. That's why you must learn the art of seduction early. You need to cultivate the right habits and mindsets from your teens into your 20s. By the time you're 30, it's too late. You've already established your identity. Even if you want to change, your past self sabotages you. That's why you see 50-year-old guys on dating apps looking 10 years younger because they took this advice to heart in their 20s. They mastered seduction and now reap the rewards. On the other hand, you see 20-year-olds who look 30 because they smoked and partied hard, ignoring the importance of taking care of their bodies. Seduction is a skill like anything else. It requires practice. The best time to start is now, but the second best time is 10 years ago. Regardless of your age though, you must accept one undeniable truth. Seduction is a numbers game. The more women you meet and interact with, the better you'll become at it. You'll become better at starting conversations, maintaining them, and knowing when to advance. No matter your age, the more reps you get, the smarter seducer you become. Don't be fooled into thinking women are too complicated to understand. The media promotes this myth to keep you trapped in the fantasy world of romance, where you can be tricked into fruitless relationships. The reality is women are just as flawed and motivated by self-interest as men. The smartest seducers recognize this and act accordingly. They stop expecting women to behave according to outdated gender roles and start treating them as individuals. They give them the respect they deserve while understanding they're still human with weaknesses. The bottom line? You don't need to be perfect to succeed with women. All you need is the right mindset, a solid plan, and consistent execution. I know that being rejected by women can crush your confidence. It happened to me early in my journey. But the smart seducers realize that rejection is part of the process. They quickly bounce back and learn from each setback. Remember, the biggest risk in life is not failing with women, but failing to learn from your failures. You become a top 1% man chasing a top 1% woman without becoming a top 1% lover yourself. You must master the art of seduction to win the girl you desire. That means continuously improving your skills, resisting the urge to settle, and accepting that the journey is just as important as the destination. If you can follow these guidelines, the right girl will eventually come along for you. Just make sure you're worthy of her affection.